Today's Ask Me Anything goes out to Anthony Pastiak, and it's kind of a long question and deals with something a little bit more complicated, but I want to address it here. And he says, Robert, how do I get my dog to plots or down and stay, obviously at a distance of 20 to 60 feet in the park, with or without distractions? Currently, she will plot or down for her ball or a treat when I'm next to her, but will only stay or come when she is at distance off leash. I'm not sure what that has to do with it. I have a Mini Educator, which is an electric collar, a good brand, I like them, but I've not used it yet. I'm thinking of using it like this guy in the link above to speed up the process, and you showed me the video, and what he's doing is something that definitely works, but it's not a method that I would approach with this dog in particular. It's a good method, but not a method I would approach with this dog. She's only 7 months old. I've only had her since Thanksgiving, when she wasn't even housebroken. Maybe I'm asking too much of her, and that really is the root of this issue. You're asking too much of the dog too soon. How long should it take to get this point with that dog without using an e-collar? I just want to be polished. I also think of using just the vibrate mode and e-collar to correlate with the plots command. What's your thoughts on that method? So whether you're using a stimulation, electric stimulation, or you're using a vibration stimulation mode, they're going to really affect the dog pretty much the same. It's still an aversive. It's something he doesn't know where it's coming from, something that's affecting or vibrating on his neck. And the electrical stimulation on these e-collar brands are really, really dynamite. I like them a lot. They're very soft stimulation. They're not going to shock the dog like people always say shock collar. They're a very mild muscular stimulation, similar to like a TENS unit when you get muscle stimulation on your arm or your back and stuff like that. But I would start to use a long line. I'd start to teach the dog shorter distances. Maybe you sit next to the dog, put the dog down. Remember, just because you put an e-collar on a dog doesn't mean it's going to work. People always think that the e-collar is like a remote control for the dog, and it's not. E-collars are simply taught to reinforce or to block behaviors, but the dog has to have a basic understanding of what you want before you put the e-collar on, unless you're going to do something like a rattlesnake avoidance training where we just light the dog up because we want the dog to hate that one object with his life so that it will save his life. For using it for obedience, e-collars are probably one of the best training tools in the world, but they have to be layered in properly in order to understand that. I know there's some good courses online that are coming up that I'm happy to send you a link to, but right now you've had her for only a few months, 3 months now, or 2 months, and you're asking way too much of the dog. So the down command at a distance is super, super difficult. Watch my videos on it, but it's going to take a long time. Before you have a solid down at a distance, probably take you a good 6 months to a year, I would say, to do it properly and to do it fairly, where the dog is really proofed under a lot of distractions. I used to be able to leave Goofy on a down under a tree, and one time there was a poodle chasing a frisbee. It knocked into Goofy, tumbled him over once, and got the frisbee, and Goofy was still laying there. That was a solid down. He had that when we were in the prime of our training. He was a very solidly trained dog. He's still a very good dog, but it takes a lot of time. So don't rush it. Don't use the e-collar yet. Don't get rid of the e-collar. You're going to probably want to use it later once you can layer it in. But for now, work on patience. Watch my other videos on the down command. I may even do some more. Got a question? Ask me anything.